The Golden State is pushing back. San Diego County voting to back the Trump administration's court challenge to California's sanctuary laws. President Trump taking to Twitter early this morning, writing this: "There is a revolution going on in California. So many sanctuary areas want out of this ridiculous, crime-infested, and breeding concept. Jerry Brown is trying to back out of the National Guard at the border, but the people of the state are not happy, want security and safety now." The president writes. This comes as Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey are set to discuss border security and troop deployment at the southwest border today. Joining me right now is former Republican Florida Congressman and Fox News contributor, retired Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, along with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Good to see you, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome to Dallas.
Thank you so much. And I want to start with you, Mr. Attorney General, because Texas also shares similar concerns in terms of border control. What's your reaction to what's taking place in California?
Well, it's very hard for me to understand. As a state along the border, we know, as we keep statistics, that we have higher crime because of illegal immigration. And so the fact that the president wants to bring more National Guard troops here, we welcome it. We want it. We need the help. We've been asking for this help for years and years and years, so we appreciate the help.
So what are you seeing right now at the border that you can tell us about in terms of people wanting in? I mean, a lot of people push back and say, why do we need the National Guard now? You know, border crossings are down. How do you see it?
Well, I think some of the numbers have actually spiked up a little bit, and so we still have issues with human trafficking, sex trafficking. We have issues with drugs. Those haven't gone away, and we also, as I said, we keep statistics. We've had over 1,200 homicides over the last 5 years related to illegal immigrations and over 600,000 crimes overall. So we know this is having an impact on our border and our state.
The fact that you're seeing pushback, Alan, is encouraging.
Well, I think
pushback to the sanctuary laws.
Yeah, pushback to the sanctuary laws. When you look at a lot of those counties and those cities, those are the people that are closer to that border. Those are the people that are immediately affected by what is happening with the increase of local criminality. And also, we have to come to understand, not everyone is coming across that border is just looking to enter into the United States of America to work in the hospitality industry, whatever. You have some very bad actors that are also coming in because there's been a collusion between the transnational criminal organizations, the drug cartels, and entities like Hezbollah and Iran as well.
So, I mean, people know that, right? Lieutenant, we know that. What's the rationale? What do they push back on and say, oh, that's okay, we're still going to blow off federal law?
Well, I think the thing is you're looking at an ideological agenda. You're looking at people that don't believe in the sovereignty of the United States of America, and for whatever reason, they think that this is going to endear them to a new electorate voting base.
It's incredible. It is about voting, isn't it?
It is absolutely about voting.
Yeah. So in other words, in California, they want to round up as many people to vote Democrat and follow their ideologies.
Well, and you can see that because when Arizona had their issue and they were trying to expand immigration control, California came in on the other side of that. And now here they are doing just the opposite and trying to make the same arguments.
Wow. Let me switch gears, ask you about Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, set to meet with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago for a second day. North Korea topping both world leaders' agenda ahead of the president's yet-to-be-scheduled summit with the Hermit Kingdom's dictator, Kim Jong-un. This coming as CIA Director Mike Pompeo apparently took this secret visit to North Korea earlier this month. The president took to Twitter this morning to confirm the meeting. He writes this morning, Mike Pompeo met with Kim Jong-un in North Korea last week. Meeting went very smoothly and a good relationship was formed. Details of summit being worked out now. Denuclearization will be a great thing for the world, but also for North Korea. Obviously, trade is another big issue here. The president did not grant the country an exception to the heavy tariffs slapped on steel and aluminum imports last month. Lieutenant Colonel, what's your take on this? Where should we be thinking this is going? And why was Japan excluded from the exemptions?
Well, I would not be able to answer that. I don't understand why, because I think right now you want to have Japan and South Korea as strong allies if you're going to take a stance against North Korea eventually. I will tell you this. I don't agree with sending Mike Pompeo over to meet with Kim Jong-un. I think that you should not do anything that legitimizes him, and I don't see how you can have a good relationship with a brutal dictator that is murdering his own people. If you see Bashar al-Assad as an animal, then you also have to see Kim Jong-un in the same light.
Yeah. Speaking of Assad, the latest in Syria is U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, addressing criticism from the newly appointed economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, that she was, quote unquote, confused when she said that the Trump administration would be imposing more sanctions on Russia. Writing this, with all due respect, I don't get confused. Kudlow has since walked back on his comments. Attorney General, your take on this?
Well, obviously a little internal battle going on there. Hopefully they'll get that resolved and figure out what they're doing as it relates to Russia and whether there are going to be sanctions.
I mean, should there be sanctions? You know, you talk about all of these leaders that we, you know, are sort of faced with and have to deal with, whether it's Kim Jong-un, Bashar al-Assad, and then there's Russia, Iran. Should the sanctions have been moved forward?
Actually, I think we should always be open to considering that, especially with a country like Russia. They're not necessarily a friend, and so I think we should always consider that if it's an effective tool to help our goals and our policies.
Because Nikki Haley was pretty adamant when she first said it.
No, she's absolutely right. And if you look at it from a strategic perspective, we got to isolate Bashar al-Assad. That's the most important thing. So with Russia's influence, that's the economic sanctions. And I would expect that the president does not recertify that nuclear agreement next month in May, because the billions of dollars and the lifting of the sanctions on Iran has enabled them to create an incredible hegemonic dominance there. And now they're building military bases in Syria.
It's a great point. Look, if that deal doesn't change, the president said he's not going to renew it, and the deadline is May 10th, so we'll see about that.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, Ken Paxton, about economic backdrop here in Texas. I mean, I was walking around in Dallas yesterday. Man, it feels strong. It feels like things are booming. What's going on?
We have a great economy here. We have a very pro business. We have a low taxation. We monitor regulation. This is a state that wants business to come, unlike other states, and so we've attracted a lot of business. Obviously, Toyota just moved here from California in this very area, along with many jobs that are associated with that. So we continue to attract business because we're friendly to business.
So do you think that the strength in terms of growth here is coming from business or consumer? What's really driving the activity? I
think what's driving is opportunity. People know that they can come to Texas, big firms, small firms, entrepreneurs, they know they can come to Texas and there is opportunity and that there will be opportunity, that we're not going to try to push back on it. We're going to try to give people as much opportunity as they want.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a really long runway, basically, Congressman, when you look at the impacts from this tax cut plan and the rollback in regulations.
No, absolutely right. And that's why, you know, being here in Texas, you find this mantra of turn Texas blue, one of the most insidious things I've ever heard. Why would you want to, you know, reverse the incredible economic growth and opportunities that you see here? Why would you want Texas to look like California?
Yeah, good point. Alan West, Ken Paxton, great to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.